let's talk about Twitter, the nightmare that is Twitter right now. So Twitter, of course, is going through a lot of change. It's charging people for verification badges. It's supposed to be removing all of these sort of legacy verification badges over the coming weeks of people. And it's also recently announced updates to its API. And so I won't get into technical stuff, but the bottom line is Twitter has been the most generous of all the social media platforms of the data that it makes available for free. And because of that, we have had access to lots of really useful Twitter tools, which will help us, analyze a Twitter account and tell us, how often it tweets and what tools it used to tweet and who it interacts with the most. And so these tools have been really useful and helpful to fact checkers and lots of different people. And the new API limits, which they have recently announced, basically result in a drastic reduction in the amount of data that Twitter is sharing for free. And so a whole range of Twitter tools that we have been using are probably going to die or be significantly reduced in terms of their functionality. So Twitter announced this just the other day, and their new free access is write only. So before, you could pull data from Twitter and say, hey, give me everything, give me the last 3,000 tweets from this account and then analyze that. Now it is write only, meaning, hey, I want to use your API to send my tweets or what have you. So completely different, really, really disappointing. And then it's got paid access, which even if you're paying, you're getting like less data than you were getting for free before, is what people have been telling me. So this is a really rough scenario. I've noticed things like follower wonk, which was a Twitter analysis tool, has been out for a little while, even before the API changes have been announced, because Twitter is changing things and causing stuff to break. So follower wonk, was telling people, hey, sorry. And follower wonk is probably not going to come back, would be my guess. Watch it be live right now, but maybe it's come back, but it will now have to grapple with this new free API, which is rolling out soon. A tool that I liked and used, accountanalysis.app, is dead. The developer Luca has announced that it is dead. And because of the new API, he can't do it anymore. And so like when he sent out this email, because I was one of the customers of it, he said that the new paid access offers only access to 10,000 tweets per month. And he said that's barely enough to analyze 4 counts at a cost of $25 per analysis. Just a massive change and reduction in the data we're getting. And, I won't read this word for word, but like I reached out to Luca, and he said there were no monthly limits on an old API he was using, and it had a time limit on it. And he said the free tier is completely useless because you can't retrieve any tweets with it. And then it has limits on the new paid tier. And so basically, it's just this is the beginning of the Twitter tool apocalypse. My guess is some of these Twitter tools, which are all as of right now free, are probably going to greatly reduce their functionality, or they're going to die. And so this is a pretty sad scenario we're in. Just to give you an example, I've already had trouble logging into tools even before this new API rolls out. I couldn't get into TruthNest recently. I couldn't get into TweetBeaver recently. This again may just be an issue with me at that moment. Maybe I had signed in too many tools and Twitter was limiting me, but I had never experienced this before. So things are already getting worse. Things are already degrading. And it's sad with TweetBeaver, which is so useful and had just recently come back into functionality. It's probably going to die again. Twixplorer, which is a way to search on Twitter. I reached out to them. Basically, they're probably going to have to kill it. He said, we'll probably mothball the site once the pricing changes are activated. So it's basically going to die. And he's not confident that the new academic data sharing protocols, because this is run out of a university, are going to help them. So that's just a section of today's workshop, which is 100% bad news. Everything else is good news. Everything else is, hey, here's new stuff. Here's new options. This is just all bad news. And it's sad. And so like, where does this leave you? Well, Twitter still has an advanced search functionality. And so instead of relying on a tool to kind of pull stuff from an account, you should be thinking about doing tailored searches, pulling specific tweets from an account. And look, the API changes have been announced. They're going to roll them out in the coming weeks. Maybe they run into issues and maybe Twitter changes or backtracks on things. I don't know that's going to happen. Maybe, but you should definitely be thinking about how familiar you are with Twitter Advanced Search, how good you are using it, because when you're analyzing accounts or trying to pull tweets about topics, that is what you're probably going to have to be looking at as opposed to a lot of these tools. And this is just a reminder of the thing that I covered as we started this, which is just that, look, what matters is how creative and persistent you are in trying to solve challenges and dig into things. The tools help us, but the tools come and go. Some of you will remember we used to have amazing tools on Facebook for pulling data and information from accounts and about accounts. And that disappeared in, I think it was like 2018. It's been years without it. We have adapted. We miss them, but they're gone, okay? And it's gonna be the same for Twitter. Some stuff that's been really helpful to us is gonna die, and we have to move on and continue doing our work.